And welcome back to another episode of the Game Language Podcast, where we deduce, dissect, and discuss video games and whether or not they speak our language. I'm Troy, and with me always is
Jason.
What's up, man?
Oh, not too much. Just been playing some really fun video games lately.
Yes.
How about yourself?
Same. I just came back from a trip to Chicago for work. It was pretty cool, but I did not miss a chance to game. I took my Switch with me, and I played a lot of Hades. I played a whole lot of Hades. So, yeah. What have you been playing lately?
Oh, what have I not been playing? I've been playing Monster Hunter Wild still.
Yeah.
Been doing the event quests, beating the shit out of Arc-Tempered Raidao.
Mm-hmm. Naturally.
Yeah, he was a bit easier than I was hoping for, to be honest, but he was still really cool. And then I've been playing Dragon Quest XI S.
Yeah.
On PC. And just a shout out to those who use like the Project Rebuild mod, the guys that make that. It's been really good playing that game with like the higher fidelity like character models and stuff, and so it's been a real treat to play that game again.
Yeah.
In just like all its graphical splendor. And then other than that, also Helldivers 2.
Oh yeah. They got the new event going on, right?
Yeah, been fighting for Super Earth,
Yeah.
for democracy. What about you? What else you been playing other than Hades?
Not much. So I do want to talk really quick about Hades because you know how I am about what do you call them, roguelikes?
Mm-hmm.
Don't love them. Probably one of my least favorite types of games or game genres. And so I just decided I'll give it a shot, see what it's like to complete a run. And I was addicted to using, or not addicted, but I had told myself I wouldn't beat the game with any other weapon until I beat it with Zagreus' sword, because I'm like, it's his sword. I got to beat it first with his sword. Couldn't do it. It was getting frustrating. So I tried the bow. You know how I am about bows. Once I got that in my hand, I got a nice little build with Artemis, and still haven't beaten it, but I've gotten Hades down to his like last hit, and last phase. And it's been like extremely addicting trying to get those runs down with that weapon. So it's got to be the first time that I've been like, this roguelike, I fuck with it. But aside from that, I play a little bit of Towerborne, which we play all the time. And I did try the Battle for Super Earth with what's it called? Helldivers 2. Which that event is pretty cool. There's so much that's happened in the game since I last played. All the different war bonds, the different weapons that you can do, weapon customization.
Yeah.
There's like so much in that game now. So that's been really cool to come back to.
Yeah. No, it's been really cool. Because I've been on and off with that game.
Mm-hmm.
I've been coming back for like every big update. And I feel like they really are on the right path with this one.
Yeah, no, it feels like I had issues with the game when I first played it, where I felt like it was a bit unfinished, or not unfinished. I won't say that. There were still not resources. There were still things I wanted in the game. The weapon customization being one of them, because I told you before. I said once I get to a point and I got a weapon that I wanted, what was the point to continue grinding? Well, now you can get different sights, different different stocks, different things to make the weapon even better. And the shooting in the game is so well made that all those little nuances really do help make differences. And the little bit that you and I played, I was able to upgrade my gun a couple times, and within the run after upgrading it, I felt the difference. So yeah, it's definitely refreshed my excitement to play the game.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say that was one of my biggest criticisms of the game, was that the path of power was just kind of short. Because once you did that, the only thing you could really do once you get the weapon that you want is play the higher difficulty missions to get the final source of samples, so that you could get the final upgrades for your ship. But once you do that, it's like, what is there to do except for fight for freedom forever?
Mm-hmm.
So now with this new, every weapon has its own progression system. It really helps the grind, because like once I'm done with like assault rifles, I'm pretty sure I'll go to like shotguns or marksman rifles or whatever else is there to just unlock them all, get their camos. It's almost like the Call of Duty effect, where it's just like I'll play multiple weapons because I I like seeing number go up, and
Yeah.
I like seeing stuff unlock. But yeah. But now that we know what we've been playing, let's find out what's going on in the world of gaming. There are 3 bites of news, and we've been gone for a minute. So we had some pretty major stories happen this month. First one is the kind of the newest story. Bungie's Marathon got caught plagiarizing art textures in its alpha beta build, and reports from the employees working there is that vibes are at an all-time low.
Damn.
Yeah, I love how they always drop vibes. And that's a headline when you go to read a newspaper website. And you're just like, vibes?
Yeah.
The vibes could not be lower.
What is the what are the images that they were plagiarizing?
So I was gonna say they got caught because there was an artist named Anti-Real.
Mm-hmm.
She's been an artist. She's been doing this marathon style since about 2017, which is way before the game even started development. And the thing is like, there's a difference between like copying someone's style and aesthetic, and then there's outright plagiarizing. When you look at her artwork, you'd be like, oh my god, that is very marathon like. It almost feels like they just like got the mood from her. Now she didn't invent that style.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to be clear, she doesn't have a copyright on like simplistic like futurism.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think they call it like synthetic Swiss or style. I can't remember. There's a couple of different styles that it's that it falls under.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that her actual artwork was like copied, like straight up Control-C, Control-V, copy and pasted, to a degree where her name was on some of the textures because she
Oh my
put them on
god.
there. Yeah.
Oh
So
my god.
it wasn't just like, oh, they kind of copied it, or like maybe traced over it. No, they freaking just ripped it and put it in there. Even so much as like finding one of her Easter eggs. She had like there's a digital online joke, LOSS, loss, but it's something to do with like programming or referencing a specific online comic. She put that in there as an Easter egg. She talked about it in 2023 before this beta came out. Someone who played the beta posted it. They're like, I found loss in Marathon from your artwork because they just ripped it directly from her.
So what's going to happen now?
So what's already happened is Marathon development, Bungie Studio has admitted to it. So this isn't an accusation anymore. They've admitted that they plagiarized it. They did say it was a former employee and a contractual employee that no longer works with them. And they are reaching out to Anti-Real, and are in talks with her to see how they can like go forward with either like compensating or who knows what they're going to do. This did affect their live stream because they were going to show more of the game, and like show some exciting updates from feedback they got from the alpha, but they can't because they're not sure what else might be plagiarized in the game. So they had to just cut all footage, and the stream was just Joe Cross and Joe Ziegler, the director and art director, essentially just looking really sad. It was a very hard to watch stream.
Yeah.
I only got like 7 minutes into it before I was just like, I can't.
It was
the secondhand embarrassment is just nope.
It was that sad.
I don't know who was at the studio that's in like PR, but I'm just like, y'all should not have done this. You should have just canceled the stream and made like a statement. It was so awkward.
No.
And it didn't help too that like the internet has a tendency to pile on.
Yeah.
And one of the top comments that just kept getting spammed by everyone in the chat was, plagiarism will make me God.
Dang.
Now that is making fun of their tagline, escape will make me God.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is an extraction shooters.
Yeah.
Escaping will make you God. So yeah.
Plagiarism will make me God. Oh my gosh.
And then and then they also, it didn't help too that Arc Raiders was at the same time, and it did extremely well compared to Marathon's Alpha's reception. it also got them the nickname Art Raiders.
No.
So, like, everything that Bungie probably would not want, or what you would never want for a game that you're hyped or interested in, all happened to Marathon.
How do you come back from that?
I'm going to be real with you. I don't know if they can. I think this game will still sell to the diehard Bungie fans, but I think this game, like, I hate to say it, but I think it's going to I think it's going to flop.
You think
I don't think it's going to be Concord, because Concord's legitimately, like, the only comparison's E.T., like the arcade game that almost ruined the game industry.
Dang. What about Anthem? Did Anthem do pretty bad compared to
No. Anthem actually sold around 3 million copies. Did pretty well. Concord didn't even hit like 100K.
Wow.
And costed almost 400 mil. So, like, that you don't, when people, I will say that's why I'm like, people don't call everything Concord, because, like, that's a historic flop. Like, nothing has failed that bad except E.T.
That is wow. Well,
it's not good that it's in that conversation, though, because like, I've watched actually a bunch of YouTube videos on this like story, and a lot of them are like Concord 2.0. Like, I've seen videos of that from pretty big YouTubers, and I'm just like, it's not that level, but it's bad to be in that company.
Let's hope it doesn't happen, because you never want that to happen to anybody, but they do need to take care of what they did. Yeah,
I think the problem right now is that they just seem to be unwilling to delay it, which might not be Bungie's choice. It might be Sony's.
Yeah.
Because we said the same thing about Concord. A lot of people did. That it needed to be delayed. It needed a revamp after the like beta. But they were like, no, it's coming out in August. And that's kind of how I can understand now why people are putting the correlation. Because I'm like, this is everyone, like, there's a tons of news articles that are like, Bungie should delay it. This can't come out in September with all this like heat on it.
Yeah.
But they haven't changed. I mean, I'm hoping that they'll delay it, but I'm also like, I don't know what's going on over there, because Bungie's also wrapped up in a lot of other negative stories with their leadership and with like a bunch of like projects being canceled. So I just feel like I'm watching one of my favorite studios kind of just like burn out.
Yeah.
And so and this is just my pessimistic take. I will say, I really hope that I'm wrong on all of this, and I hope that Marathon's able to get its feet running, because I think Bungie, like, I think shooters in general, that entire genre, would be hurt not having that studio here.
Yeah, I agree.
So don't want them gone. Just want them to
figure this one out.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Yeah.
But on to more news. Our second news item. Not really bite-sized on that last one.
That's okay.
The second one is Grand Theft Auto 6 got its delay.
Yeah.
So after 3 financial, reports they were like quarter reports where they were like, no, it is for sure coming out in 2025. It's not coming out in 2025. We all knew this wasn't happening. I was like, it's not a Rockstar game unless it gets delayed.
Yeah.
And it's been delayed. Now,
I believe you said that to me before the delay had happened. I swear to God, you said those exact words to me.
That's because, hey, I'm a huge fan of Rockstar.
Yeah.
They're one of my favorite companies. I just know their MO.
Yeah.
Even Red Dead 2 got like 3 delays. Grand Theft Auto 5 got like 6. Like, I'll be surprised if this is the only delay we get. I hope it's the only delay we get, though, because normally when they delay, they don't give us an exact date. We do have an exact date for GTA 6, May 26th, 2026.
Yeah.
Now, to soften the blow, 2 days after they broke our hearts with this delay and, surprised so many of us, they released a second trailer, and it was amazing, actually. It is accompanied by the song Hot Together by the Pointer Sisters, which I've been listening to on repeat ever since I watched that trailer. It is so good. It also, the entire trailer was done on a PS5, base PS5. And that game, it looks incredible.
Yeah, it does. It looks really good.
Yeah, I'm really shocked that they're able to pull that off. And the cool thing is like, some people are like, this is unbelievable. I'm like, what's unbelievable is it's going to look better on your base PS5. Like, Rockstar has never, ever in my history as being a fan, which was GTA 4, they have never downgraded the graphics from the trailers. They've only ever upgraded them. Red Dead 2 had that, and like people have been using that as like, guys, believe. And it's like, yeah, it looked amazing. Like a lot of us didn't believe the trailers when we saw Red Dead 2, and then the game came out and it looked even better.
Yeah.
So, really shocked. What I'm also not shocked at, though, is that trailer hit pretty high records. It's at 114 million views. People really like
they love
Rockstar trailers.
Yeah.
And this one's a little bit of old news, but we haven't reported on it the last bit. Microsoft has joined Nintendo in the inflation wars and has raised the prices on a lot more than what Nintendo did, actually, though. Nintendo currently only has Mario Kart World as its $80 game. Microsoft has said that almost all their a majority of their first-party games going forward, starting this holiday, will be $80.
What do they got coming out this holiday?
I mean, I don't know specifically this holiday, but I do know that like Fable's coming.
Yeah,
sometime. I think it actually got delayed to 2026. And then obviously Elder Scrolls 6. That's pretty much a guarantee to be $80 at this point. And probably Gears of War E-Day. We know that's coming, but I don't know when. But that'll be $80. So it's the new price tag for AAA games. Sony still hasn't made the change yet, but a recent report has shown that they are planning on doing a price adjustment because we hate it, but those tariffs are really not helping the economy right now, at least in the entertainment district. I don't know enough about economics to talk about any other sector. But at least for entertainment, because a lot of our products come from China, Vietnam, and like the Asian areas is where they're manufactured. That's where a lot of the tariffs are focused. And so we're eating the cost as gamers.
Dang. It's unfortunate. I mean, I'll still buy the games, you know. It's just how it goes. They get more expensive. That just means I got to get a raise.
Yeah. I will say, too, the only thing that shocked me about Microsoft's adjustment, because I had a feeling that once Nintendo did the $80, I was like, oh, T-minus 5, 4, 3, you know. There's just a countdown until Sony and Microsoft followed, because they're going to be like, our games are like, cost way more than those ones to make. We're going to sell it for that.
Yeah.
And you can't really blame them. They're just following market. The thing that shocked me was the raise on prices of consoles. The Xbox Series X, which was $500, just like the PS5, is now $600. They raised the price of everything. The Series S, you know, the tiny one.
Yeah.
It's like it got raised by $80, and I'm like, that's not why. It also becomes really baffling because Microsoft is losing the hardware war.
Yeah.
It's getting outsold like 3-1 by the PlayStation 5.
Now they're going to buy it less.
Yeah, I'm like, you're going to lose 5-1 at this point. Like, no one's and
I guess to get more money from the ones that they can maybe sell.
Yeah, I think we're heading into that direction where Microsoft is gonna. I think next gen's probably their last hardware.
They're gonna be a software company.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be real honest. I'm kind of more in tune with that.
Yeah, don't they do well on this on the software side?
Yeah, because another bonus news story. They were the top 3 publisher for Sony's best-selling games on the Sony platform.
What?
Everyone's buying their games. Because, yeah, they were like, okay, you guys won. No more exclusives. We're going to put it on PlayStation. Sony gamers were like, hell yeah. Bought it all up. Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I mean, when Starfield eventually comes there, I'm sure it'll sell.
It's going to sell
on PlayStation.
Yeah. Well, hey, if it's good for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they spent like almost $100 billion on buying every studio. So I'm like, you got to get that money back somehow. You're not going to do it on the lowest performing hardware system in the console ecosystem. But yeah, that 3 crazy news stories, all a little negative, but some good.
The silver lining is the amount of views for the Grand Theft Auto trailer.
It was also just good to get the trailer.
Yeah.
They make us wait a lot, so it was really nice to see it.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to move on to our game. We're going to be playing, so far, working title, judged by its cover. Again, that's the one where I give my wife 5 games that she's never played. I grab the cover art, show it to her. I erase all the text on there so she can only see the picture, and I ask her, who are they and what are they doing? And then you got to guess who it is based off of her descriptions, okay?
I love this game.
Yes, I'm falling in love with this game. So these are all shooter games, okay? Some old, some new. They're all shooters, some first person, some third person, but they all are in the realm of shooting games, okay?
Okay.
So starting off, this one is an action movie poster with Winona Ryder and some man running away from an explosion.
Is that BioShock Infinite?
No.
Okay.
I'll give you 3 guesses each time, okay?
Okay.
Once again, an action movie poster with Winona Ryder and some man running away from an explosion.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know if that's Winona Ryder, to be honest.
Oh, I know it's not, but I'm trying to think of someone who looks like her in a video game.
Come on, you got this. You played this game. You've seen this game. It's a classic.
It's a classic?
Yeah.
And a shooter.
I'm only going to give you one more guess.
Yeah, no. This one's kind of stumping me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know? You don't want to just guess any game?
I can't think of a shooter that has a dude running from an explosion with a girl on the cover.
It's GoldenEye. On the GoldenEye case, you've got Pierce Brosnan with the gun. You got the girl in the back. I don't know who the actress is. And then there's a little picture of a dude running away from fire.
See, I only ever saw the cartridge.
All right, yeah. But the first one is GoldenEye. All right.
Fair.
Second, this one is Jamie Lannister holding a shotgun over his shoulder with a burning flag in the background.
Is this one BioShock Infinite?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I was like, I know Booker's on there. See, I thought Winona Ryder, and I'm like, maybe she thought that of Elizabeth.
Yeah, because Elizabeth looks like a Winona Ryder-esque character, yeah.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, Jamie Lannister holding a shotgun over his shoulder with a burning flag in the background. BioShock Infinite.
That's a fantastic description.
All right. Man in green armor and a fur cloak fighting off demons using a Beyblade shield.
Doom the Dark Ages. Yes. I love that design of the Doomslayer.
Yeah, he looks so tight.
He looks so cool.
He looks so tight. All right. This is a squad I'd want to save me in the end of times. They all look tough, all have called dibs on different weapons. There's yellow energy surging from the ground.
This is Gears of War?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is Gears of War.
Nice.
How'd you get that?
I would want them in the apocalypse for sure. They got chainsaws on their weapons.
All right, here's the last one. These guys are wearing very neat looking futuristic armor. There are 2 men with big guns and for some reason the woman has a small blaster. They're at an angle on a planet with red dirt like Sedona. You want me to read that again?
Yeah.
All right. These guys are wearing very neat looking futuristic armor. There are 2 men with big guns, and for some reason, the woman has a small blaster. They're at an angle on a planet with red dirt that looks like Sedona.
This isn't Helldivers, is it?
It is not Helldivers.
Okay, it's not Helldivers.
They wouldn't do that. They'd all have big guns.
Is it Destiny?
It is Destiny.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so what you're 4 for, or you got 4 right.
Nice.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, good job.
Woo.
4 points. All right.
The only one who got me was GoldenEye.
Yeah.
No, those were great descriptions. The GoldenEye one was a good one too. GoldenEye is not really one of my favorites, so I do not remember that box art.
It's okay. I just remember the cartridge too. And I actually had a friend back in the day. Didn't the 64 games come in like not
they came
cardboard,
in a whole ass box,
like a whole
dude.
box? Yeah. So there's a few boxes that I remember, and that's one of them. I just remember like opening the top and taking the cartridge out of the old 64 like box. So.
Yeah, see, the only ones I remember that for were like Donkey Kong 64 and Yoshi's Story, because like I don't remember having like the boxes all the time.
Yeah, no,
because I'm pretty sure I bought my family must have bought a couple pre-owned ones.
Yeah, no, I feel like 64 games were a lot like VHS tapes where you had it, but you don't know where the case went. So you just had that thing sitting loose on a stack, and you would just grab it and throw it in.
No, that's true. I will say my mom did buy like a bunch of like, it's funny you say VHSs. They were like clear tapes that were N64 cartridge holders. Because, I guess we didn't want to keep the box.
Yeah.
And I probably wasn't as collector heavy as I am now. Because now I'm like, I love all the cases.
Yeah. I want to keep the case. Give me a metal case for a digital game. I want it.
Yep. Just so I can say, I have that one. What? It's not in here. Yeah, no, it's on the system. It's pre-installed. It's just there for looks. But yeah, no, that's interesting. Great descriptions. I'll have to thank her later.
All right, and with that, we're going to move into our impressions. I want to kick this one off. Let's start. We got 2 games we're going to be talking about. First, Towerborne, and then we'll go over the Capcom Fighting Collection too. Let's start with Towerborne, a game that we both kind of just came across on Xbox Game Pass. So I was watching just a Twitter clip, right, of somebody talking about how good games are right now on Game Pass, and they slapped the screen and they've got like what is it called? What's the one with Pinocchio? Lies of P.
Lies of P. Yeah.
They were talking about South of Midnight, and they're slapping on this game Towerborne, and I'm like, what the fuck is this game? So I decided to look into it. Immediately, I was like kind of off put by the art style because it has that sort of like cell shaded Ruby, like I'm talking 4 or 5 seasons into Ruby, like after Monty Ohm type thing. So it didn't look that great. And so at first I was like, this game looks kind of weird, but they said it's good, so let's try it out. Lo and behold, it's like Devil May Cry meets Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
It's an amazing action-based game where you play you create your character. You're in this world where you are part of a group of people that died in some type of calamity, but you get brought back to life, and you're fighting these whatever creatures of the world. And you have this like hexagonal map type thing that you just go through, clearing stages. And you can play as Sword and Shield, gauntlets, some really cool like
the Pyro
class, which is like a staff that's on fire. It's like a staff and a flamethrower at the same time, and then daggers. And it's just like the most combo heavy game that you could think of. And lo and behold, it's so much fun to play.
Oh yeah. I was going to say, it is funny because like you're the one who got me to play this because I had no idea about this game other than I had seen it at the Microsoft like E3 showing or Summer Game Show last year. And I remember looking at it and being like, I don't know if I'm supposed to get excited for like a Castle Crashers like game again.
Yeah.
That was kind of my teenage era. I don't really need it anymore. But then you started playing it, and I saw the combos, and I was like, hang on, is this like 2D Devil May Cry?
Yeah.
Because like a lot of games don't do that juggle. I really love the juggles and like doing aerial combos, and this game lets you do them.
Yeah.
And oh boy, do they let you do them.
Yeah, and it's got a skill tree. It's got skill tree and loot. So you've got loot that changes your passives from like bleeding people, burning people, those kind of things. So you've got a loot grind with different rarity of loot, and then you've got skill trees where you have a allocated points that you get every time you level up, and then you can use those points to give yourself more combos, different types of like dodges, all kinds of things. But it's just like how in Devil May Cry, you know what the fully built kitted character is supposed to be, and they take all that away and then make you get it through a skill tree, which is fine because at the end of the day, they're giving you more and more stuff to use instead of to choose from. I don't like it when you do a loadout. These are just, I could have everything if I could get to a high enough level, which is pretty sweet. And your character just becomes fully kitted and you're just doing crazy amounts of combos and like linking things together, doing different types of specials. It's very cool.
Yeah. I'll say, I've been really liking how the game plays, obviously, with like the progression and everything. But I've also been really enjoying like the music and the graphics of the world. Yeah. The characters do look, like cheeks, but it's kind of grown on me, mostly because like I think creating your own ugly little guy is nice because like he doesn't look like super ugly. They look ugly because of the art style, but like there was surprisingly like I was able to make a character I liked.
Yes.
Whereas like just to use another game as an example, No Rest for the Wicked has horrendous character creators for me.
Yeah.
Where it's like even though I get to make my own guy, he looks he looks disgusting.
Yeah.
And I was like, there was nothing I could do in that entire creator to make a character I enjoyed looking at. Whereas
that's why you put it in No Rest for the Wicked. You got to put the big hat on him so you can't see him.
Yeah, I don't like doing that. I like to see my creation.
Yeah.
And so, like, this character, I really felt like we've gotten to express like how we would express a cartoon character in those games. Like, I love seeing your character when we play multiplayer, and I'm just like, yeah, that's Troy's character.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and then you see mine, I'm pretty sure it's like,
yeah, that's Jason.
That's a Jason ass character.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if my buddy Nick saw it, he would laugh because he always chuckles that I make the same dude in every video game.
Yeah.
So, I really enjoy the customization, and I really like the enemy variety.
Yes.
That was one thing. So not only do you get this like nice skill variety, but there is just tons of enemies. The whole time we were playing the first like 10 hours, we were both just like, wow, have you seen that one before? No. Wow, this is new. Oh, it's not just a colored version of one we saw before. So it was really interesting. That's not to say you won't see a lot of the same enemies, but it is surprising where I feel like a lot of games maybe would have only done half of what they've done.
And that's so far. We still have so much to see in the game, so much to unlock. And still, each time we go to a different zone, or even when you play the game at harder difficulties, because it. But yeah, it's cool because you at a higher tier you see more enemies and different types of enemies and harder versions of them, which is really cool.
Yeah, I always like it too. It for me, the last time I played a game with that tier system was like Helldivers 2, which is you don't even see certain enemies unless you're playing the higher difficulties, which I love though. I think that's a much cleverer way to do difficulty than to just be like, hey, now they just have infinite health bars, or now they one shot you, and that still applies because when we play tier 5. It is a monster. These guys end up having, instead of being able to kill them with a combo, we got to juggle them over and over and over and put like debuffs on them, like the damage over time and stuff, in order to even feel like we have a chance against them.
Yeah.
But I enjoy that struggle. Even if I have to go down a little bit to like get stronger to face the higher one, it is just fun knowing that there's that wall and how much it makes me like lock in.
Yeah, definitely lock in, and it feels satisfying. Every time you get put in a situation where you're overrun by a bunch of enemies, there's plenty of different skills to group them up. Almost everything you can think of in an action game, whether it be multi-firing attacks that do like large sweeping strikes that pull everybody in together, launchers, all kinds of things, shield bashes, and each one of the classes like plays extremely differently. For example, so the sword and shield, it's a class that it's the only one that can perfect parry. There's even perfect parry in the game. So you can parry, do counterattacks, shield bash enemies who are guarding to break their guard, shield thrust into enemies to knock them off balance or to stagger them. And that's all unique. Well, not all, but majority of that is unique to one weapon. Like, what is the pyro class that you play? What do they do?
Oh, the pyro class is awesome because, so one of the things that makes each weapon unique is they tend to have weapon gauges. I think for years it was Valor, right? The Valor stance.
Yep.
For the pyro class, it's every time you're hitting an enemy or every time you like do the weapon action, you'll like charge the fire. Once it's maxed out, you get to activate fire mode. And once you're in that fire mode, throughout the skill tree, you can learn unique moves that are only accessible during that mode. So it's essentially an install state. And but you just always add burn damage, which is a damage over time buff that you'll really want because it helps take out a lot of the spongy health bars. But you'll get some really cool moves. Like the one that I like to use is the sweep. So anytime I'm in install mode, I'll just do an attack and press weapon action, and my guy will do a circle sweep, which also juggles the enemies. So like we'll be getting like swamped by a bunch of like gobos or whatever. Smack, boom, they're all up in the air, and I just boom, 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 and until that meter goes out, I just get to juggle them. Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, No, there's. I urge anybody to go and get play that game. It's on Game Pass. Take a chance. Get through the tutorial. I doubt that you'll be disappointed.
Yeah. Now, besides the so we've glazed a lot of it because I think a lot of it is really, really good. Are there any things that you hope that they'll fix or maybe adjust?
Yeah, because it is in early access. I think it needs more weapons. I think the weapons that are currently there are deep, but maybe 1 or 2 more weapons would be cool. I think one of the constant things that I hear is like a great sword or something along that lines would be fun to play. I don't know if that fits in its current ecosystem, but 1 or 2 more weapons. I think additionally more tiers, because it's the highest we can go is tier 5. I've been playing one class most of the time while you've been trying out all the classes, and I think I would have more longevity with the game, not the full game, but like the difficulty of the game if I tried more weapons. Me playing this one weapon, I'm at a point where even the highest difficulty, I'm way above the gear score requirement for it, and enemies are dying before I can even finish a combo at the highest difficulty. So I definitely hope that maybe we have to reach a certain point in the story and we unlock further ranks, but that's probably the thing I think that they need most right now is more higher tiers or ranks for us to upgrade to for harder enemies.
Yeah, I was going to say, in the multiplayer component, it's been a bit rough being someone who's experimented with all the weapons because, like tier 5 for me is not easy. But you're like 6 levels higher than my highest like class, and I'm like, well, that's probably why.
yeah, I'm like up there with upgraded armor and everything on that one class, which if somebody did just play one class, I wonder what it would be like. And I've moonlighted into the dual daggers, for I want to say like 23 levels. I could have spent all that time still on the sword and shield.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think if I had any like criticisms of the game, I thought they've already announced that they're going to do new weapon types, so I don't feel like I want to like harp on them, but I do agree with that. I think it needs 1 or 2 more to feel more complete. It is early access. But the only thing I'm really annoyed by in the game is the amount of environmental hazards. I do find those to be a little too...
those are the most powerful thing.
Yeah, they're a little too annoying.
Yeah.
They should be annoying, but I think they're a little too much. I think they need to do something, either give me an ability to like slot in to like mitigate some of it or find better ways to get around it. Because a lot of times, like, until you get like the air dash, jumping over like walls of like thorns can be really annoying with certain weapon types because they just don't make it. So
they just don't make it. Yeah, so you just eat the damage. Yeah, I kind of, if they wanted to continue to have environmental hazards, maybe more creative ways like log rolling through the stage or something.
I wish they weren't so static.
Yeah, like maybe get rid of the abundance of static environments, because you are right. There's times where I'm dying and I don't even realize it. I haven't been hit, but I stepped on a thorn and now I have like 5 stacks of bleed or some shit. And my health is almost gone now because I'm at rank 5, and apparently bleed damage from the thorns is stronger than the boss that just hit me.
Yeah. I think it just gets irritating with the staticness too, because like you'll get into some screens where you're locked in to fight and it's just 60% of it is covered in like different rectangles. So it's like you do a combo and you're going to you either have to stop the combo or else you'll run into fire or just trying to get placement and move will just get you like messed up. And it's just like, this doesn't feel that good.
Yeah.
I guess maybe if they have better movement options or something. I just don't know. I just find it to be a little too much of an annoyance where it doesn't feel fun to overcome. It just feels like, oh, God.
Yeah, it feels like a nuisance.
Yeah.
I hear you.
But that's about it for me, though, on the negatives. I really think this game is extremely positive, and I recommend it wholeheartedly.
Yep.
But yeah, with that, we'll get into Capcom Fighting Collection 2.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know, Capcom used to be the gods of fighting games. They still are. They still make like Street Fighter 6, which is the most popular one at the moment. But they used to make a ton. And this second collection really shows you how much they like dipped into other genres other than just what they were good at, which was 2D fighting.
Yeah.
A lot of 3D fighters in this collection. It includes Power Stone, Power Stone 2, Project Justice, and Plasma Saber?
Yeah, plasma sword or
Plasma Sword.
Yeah.
Played that one for the first time this morning. Very fun.
Yeah. That's another 3D fighter, right?
Yep. It's that one's interesting. It's interesting. I actually like it. And then the other games that they had is Capcom versus SNK 1 and 2, and then they did Street Fighter Alpha 3, and then they did Capcom Fighting Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 8 games on the collection. And not gonna lie, they really did a lot of cool stuff with with each game. One, you no longer are forced to only play it in 4x3.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually do full screen, which, as someone who plays on an OLED handheld, thank you. I am always terrified of burn-in and ruining my screen when they just sit there and put the bars
static. Yeah.
I'm like, just make them either black so that they're not ruining the pixels, or let me customize it so I can get rid of it. Looking at you, Nintendo Switch Online. And so I really appreciate that. Even though some games I'm like, nah, I need to keep the 4x3. Like when we were playing Capcom versus SNK,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, you're right. It doesn't look as good when it's all stretched out. But yeah, they also remixed a lot of music for some of the games. So much so that they remixed every track, like Power Stone 2, I believe.
Yeah.
They did every track has a 2025 version. And then they even did additional remixes like This Is True Love We Making.
Yeah.
They made a remix to it. So they have a 2025 version, but you can also always play with the classic version. So they really went above and beyond for the collection. And so if you've ever been a fan of these games, of any of them, I think it's kind of worth picking up.
Yeah. That's one I'm going to pick up as soon as I can. At least one person in our household has it so that you and I can throw it down when we want to. I had some questions for you because so I've played a lot of these games in the past. These are some of the games that got me into fighting games in the first place. Capcom versus SNK 2 was the first time I was introduced to any of the SNK characters. It's the first time I found Rock Howard, first time I found Kyo Kusanagi. So that game is near and dear to my heart. But I want to talk about Power Stone. Yeah. Power Stone is probably one of the top 5, top 10 games. They bring me good memories. Played it on the Dreamcast, played the demo all the time till I eventually was able to get the game. And I wanted to ask, what were your first impressions on that?
So I only ever had the demo version of Power Stone 1 back on the Dreamcast. Getting to finally play the full version of the game has been such a treat.
Yeah.
Because it's weird. It's 3D Smash Bros. To me. In the sense that I find it very fun and very easy to play, and it has items, and so I can't help but think and have that correlation. But unlike a lot of arena fighters, it doesn't feel like it boils down to a same one trick pony kind of play style. And there's definitely arena fighters that don't fall into that. It's just the ones that I've played feel like Naruto Ninja Storm. Everyone just logs back and forth. In Power Stone, it was nah, with the randomness of the weapons, but needing to actually aim them, and being able to everyone has the same abilities in the sense that you can always throw a table at each other. It doesn't matter if you're the little girl or the big dude.
Yeah.
So that's been really fun. I love dive kicking. But yeah, it's been an absolute blast, and there's so many levels.
Yeah.
They really went out of their when I look at the game, I'm like, damn, this was a fun little game.
Yeah.
A fun package. I will say the arcade mode does have the unfortunate game design of the old arcades, whereas if you don't lower that difficulty,
you're gonna get messed up.
Bullshit. Not just you get messed up. They ream you on that one, dude. Because I played it on normal, which is 4-star out of 8 stars.
Yeah.
Because you have to customize it before you start the game. Dude, I was losing what little hair I have left on my head. It was so aggravating because you beat the first 2 levels and you're like, oh, that wasn't bad. Then they start nerfing your power time. So when you're in the Power Stones, dude, you get one combo. That's it, and it just immediately makes you vulnerable because you're just you're losing the gems. The enemy hits you and you have your health bar is done in like crystals, like power stones. They go from doing like, 1/4 per hit to just like taking out a whole crystal
with one hit.
Like a hit. And so I'm just like, I only have 5 crystals. And then you hit them and you're doing 1/10 of a crystal with each hit. And you're just like, I was just in super mode. I just did Spirit Bomb on you. I did Wong Tong. I love him. Do the Spirit Bomb. Not even a whole bar gone. I'm just like,
yeah.
And then they just like do one kick string on me and I'm already at like peril. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, this is ass. So yeah, I lowered that difficulty and I had a lot more fun.
Yeah. Did you get infinite continues in the regular version? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you just click the right stick, you get coins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, ding, 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 ding.
Give me all the coins. Give me all the coins. Oh.
But yeah, I was shocked just because as someone who only got to play the demo, there was a lot of characters I'd never seen before.
Yeah. So when you played the demo, if I remember correctly, you had access to Falcon, Wangtang Wongtong wasn't there.
You had the gunner, man, the guy with the bandana, the big dude.
Oh,
I forgot his name. It starts with a G.
Yeah, I forget his name. You had the rock dude, right? The one who turns into a boulder.
That's him.
Oh, he has guns?
No. He's just got big hands.
Oh, okay.
He got guns in the sense
of
like
he's
muscles,
got guns
for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, he's just the big burly dude.
Yeah, the big burly dude with the bandana. Yep. So yeah, he would turn into a giant rock and roll out. That was really annoying. Did you have access to the native dude? The native guy? Yeah,
the Native American. I think that's him, and then one of the girl characters, but it wasn't the kimono girl. Was it
the genie?
I think it was the genie Rosa.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a ton of characters in there, and they all have like one of my favorite things about Power Stone was the character art. They look so cool. They look like Marvel versus Capcom characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look so sick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been really enjoying it, and then I also got to play Power Stone 2.
Yes.
Which is a very different game than Power Stone 1.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised it's a battle royale before battle royales were popular.
Yeah, so I have Power Stone 2 on the PSP. I've only played a little bit of it because I have the Power Stone 2 collection, and I don't know if I like it as much as Power Stone 1.
I didn't think you would after I played Power Stone 2 because I don't.
Yeah.
There's something about losing an attack button that kind of is not cool for a fighting game. But I will say I don't want to like rag on it too much. I do disagree with that design decision to do that, but I did find the levels and stuff to be really fun.
Yeah.
I think Power Stone 2 would be a much more fun game to play, like as a drunk
party
game with
your friends.
Party
game with your friends, yeah.
Because it feels more like you're playing one really long Mario Party session, but just like mini games only. And so I really enjoy. Like I do think Power Stone 2 is fun, but it's just like no, I'm gonna play Power Stone 1 if I'm fighting with my friends. But again, if anyone's like, okay, I'm sick of losing, get out the beer, let's do a drinking game. I'm gonna play Power Stone 2. Yeah.
Aside from that, what else have you played on the collection that's kind of stood out to you?
Plasma Sword.
So I've never played Plasma Sword. Hayato,
I think you would really like it.
Yeah, he's one of my primaries. If not, I think he's always my starter on my Marvel vs. Capcom 2 team.
Yeah.
I got Hayato, Ryu. Well, my current team is Hayato, Captain Commando, and who else was the last one?
I can't remember.
Oh, I've messed around with too many teams. But Hayato has always been there, and back in the day, and Ryu was there, and I would switch out either Strider High Ryu or, what is his name? Bloody a Punch guy. Oh, the guy in all white who does the punches with the bandanas.
Oh, Jin,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Jin, Ryu, and Hayato, they had headbands, so those were my guys back in the day.
That's awesome.
But, tell me about Plasma Sword.
So I played through the arcade this morning, actually, so it's fresh on my mind. It's a very interesting game where it's a 3D fighter. Everyone has weapons, so kind of similar to
Soul
Calibur, but there's a lot of unique mechanics in this game. So you have vertical slash and horizontal slash. Since everyone fights with weapons, it's horizontal and vertical. And then you also have kick. So you have 3 buttons, and then you combine those. A combination of those buttons lets you do other things such as grab, and then there's also like a parry stance where you'll like charge yourself with lightning and people will hit you and you'll just boom reflect them. The computers did that to me a lot. Let me tell you. They were like, we can tell you're mashing.
Yeah.
Boom. Wrecked my life. The other thing, too, though, is that every character has this unique, like, I don't know what it's called because I've only played it for about an hour. But you have this, like, mode that if you, like, hit them with it, you'll bounce them and take yourself to another dimension where your character's powered up and they have to just survive your bullshit.
Oh, is that? I wonder if that's where Dark or Black Hayato comes from.
No, he's just an extra character. There. Like, he's his own character separate from Hayato. Because I played Hayato, that's the one I did. And his, like, infinite room was that his plasma sword turned into a great sword, and you just had to dodge the fact that I could hit you almost anywhere. But you also have specials in that game, so it works a lot like Project Justice, where it actually has quarter circles and stuff and, like, shoryus. The only reason I bring that up is not every 3D game chooses to do that for good reason. It can get messed up pretty easily.
Yeah, it can.
The other thing, too, is that there is a dodge button, the B button, or which would probably be X on PlayStation, but the bottom button, it actually, if you press up or down, it's how you sidestep.
Oh,
because it is a 3D fighter, but that's how you sidestep. And I kind of like that better. I like having a button press because you do have crouching moves, and I don't really like how Tekken, it's like, sometimes I'll try to go for, like, a sidestep by just, tapping down.
Yeah.
And it'll be like you didn't tap it good enough.
Yeah,
and
you didn't tap it right.
Just crouching.
Yeah, you just crouching. That happens all the time in Tekken.
I was going to say, but I've also had the other issue where I go to just crouch and then my dude sidesteps and I'm like, that's not what I wanted to do. What am I doing here? So I really like the button being there, and it was just fun, like, because the game lets you move before, round start.
Before round start, yeah.
So I'm always just going, I'm just going back and forth on the enemy beforehand. And then also your plasma moves, which are your supers. Those are really fun because they, like, turn the world into space, and if you hit them, it just chunks their health bar.
Damn.
And if you get a win at the plasma strike, it does the like all the camera views from like every angle. It does like 20 of them.
What?
Like, no joke. I'm just like, a little overkill, guys, but I enjoy it.
How many characters did you see in the game?
I think there's like 20 plus because there's 2 rows and there's a huge amount of rows. That's the other thing with these versions. They all add extra characters to a lot of them because secret characters.
Oh.
So like in Power Stone, just to kind of go back to that one, you can fight the final boss, like Voss, I think it was his name.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember, but it was with a V. But he was an ass. He wasn't on the character select screen. You actually have to go off of it. And there's like 3 characters that you're not supposed to be able to play that the game lets you play now with this collection.
Wow.
And you can disable that too because they're pretty powerful.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of boss characters even in this game that I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, you can just play them.
Okay. Well, we'll have to give it a shot today.
Yeah, no, it's a fun one. Other than that, I haven't played enough Project Justice. I think you were there when I just did training.
Yeah.
I haven't played it enough to like have an opinion on it other than like it's cool to see the Dreamcast era graphics.
Yeah.
There's a nostalgia I have to these like crappy graphics.
Yeah.
But they were really good for their day. And so playing, I really urge if you like the history of games to like go into this collection. It's just kind of cool. It feels like a museum, especially with all the artwork and things. Like a lot of these were in arcades, so they have what's called marquee cards.
Yep.
Where you actually get to see like what was
displayed on the cabinet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they're there to just teach you how to play with some cool artwork and some fun like, this is how you're supposed to play. Turn the tide on your opponent. And I love that stuff. The nerd. It satisfies nerd levels.
Yeah. It's a collection that I'm going to have to pick up because I have the Marvel vs. Capcom collection, but I need to grab this one.
Yeah.
But yeah. I myself haven't grabbed the collection, but I had played the games a lot in the past, so I have fond memories of them. I can't wait to play Capcom versus SNK 2 again. I love that. I love that game. So
yeah, they're really good. But I don't really have anything negative to say other than like, each game has its cons because it was made in the early 2000s. But I do think it's fun. I think the only thing I'm sad about is that there's no crossplay, but it does have rollback netcode. So like if you want to play these games online, you can have a really good experience. I haven't tested the online myself, but I did go and check with like Maximilian Dude and other YouTubers that did actually play it, like Matt McMuscles, who reviewed it as well. And they came back saying the rollback is fantastic.
That's
especially
awesome.
Playing Power Stone is really fun.
That's awesome. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah. So.
All right. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take our break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about a language-defining game that Jason decided to bring today. And we have some a really fun last boss topic.
Yeah.
All right, good?
Yeah.
And with that, we are back. We're going to be going into our language-defining games section. So this is the part of the show where either one of us or a guest brings a game that, be it the most important game to us, a game that we hate a lot, a game that we love a lot. It's just a game that defined how we appreciate and look at and enjoy games. Today, Jason, which game are you bringing?
Oh, it's a mouthful. I am bringing Dragon Quest XI S. Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition.
Yeah, that's quite the title. How many different versions of this game are there?
There's 2.
Okay.
There's only 2.
So I just want to ask a quick summary. Give me a quick summary of this game and why you decided to bring it.
So the reason I brought it is because this game is very special to me and how much it invigorated my love for the turn-based genre. So just to give a quick overview, Dragon Quest XI is the 11th game in the Dragon Quest series, which is a series that pretty much popularized and helped create the RPG genre, especially the turn-based Japanese-style turn-based RPG. It, along with Final Fantasy, were the progenitors of the genre in video game format. Obviously, it all started with Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
But Dragon Quest, one of the things that's super unique about the series is that its character design and art style is all done by Akira Toriyama, who is famous for Dragon Ball. So it has a very unique style, almost like how Disney and Ghibli have their own unique styles. You got that with this, and I think that's part of the reason it's such a big deal in Japan. And the games always center around a character that is known as the luminary or a hero, usually referred to as Erdrick in their series, which means like legendary hero. And Dragon Quest XI is no different. You play as the luminary, a young hero that has the mark of the hero on his right hand, and you're chosen from birth to be a hero at some point when you came of age. And you even have a pendant that shows, oh, you are the chosen one. So it has a very generic setup of a story of coming of age. You're from a small town called Cobblestone, and you get sent to go to Heliodor, the capital, to meet with the king to let him know, hey, I'm the luminary. I'm of the age. I'm here to help fight evil. Well, the game changes that on you right up front. The king's like, you're a darkspawn because you are a hero of light and you bring darkness. Your coming means that the demon lord's not too far away. So we're gonna put you in prison because we think if we can keep you away and get rid of you, Shadow Lord won't come. Not the smartest idea, but A for effort.
Yeah.
And from there you go on a very long journey. It's about 80 to 100 hours long. That just has you going all over the world, recruiting companions and fighting all sorts of evil. That's like the overview. The other thing that's unique with this game is it's turn-based combat, so it's not unique. Turn-based is its own genre, so there's multiple games. This one's classic.
Yeah.
We've been talking about Expedition 33 and how it is the complete opposite of a classic turn-based experience with how it incorporates action game elements into it. This one is straight up, nope. It's menu based. There's no buttons you press when you're on defense. You just eat shit.
You just eat it.
You just eat it. They do try to do some cool things with the presentation.
Yeah.
You have 2 different styles of ways you battle. So you can move around freely with your characters. It doesn't affect anything. Everyone will hit you. But it does give you a new perspective where you can do the classic where they have dynamic camera angles as your characters all sit in a line and then attack. But yeah, so that's Dragon Quest as a series. And Dragon Quest 11 is the latest one. We still haven't gotten 12. It's been like 8 years.
Oh, yeah. Do you think it's coming out anytime soon?
We just got confirmation it's still in development and has not been canceled.
Okay.
So,
I mean, that's good.
Praying.
So, you did kind of touch over this a little bit with the summary, but I did want to go into the story. So, tell me kind of why the story means a lot to you. Is you said it starts off with your kind of basic, simple, run-of-the-mill, like adventure story. But why does it stand out to you?
So, the story is probably the thing that sticks out the most to me about this game and why it's so special to me. It's probably because of how unexpected it was, and how I just haven't had a game do a lot of the things that Dragon Quest XI did. Because it does start pretty basic. But about a quarter through the game, you get hit with like what is normally in most RPGs, the dour part, where you lose essentially, and your team a little too high for their britches. They took on too much that they couldn't handle.
Yeah,
and when that happens, what I was shocked by was by how much it negatively impacted everything. For a game that's so bright and colorful, to have so many things ruined and to have like such loss, I was just like, wait, I'm supposed to save the world. Yeah. What's going on here? I mean, this is a little dour compared to usually a city falling or something in other stories. Like the whole world goes to shit a quarter through the game, just to let you know how much happens in this game. There's a lot, and I don't want to get into too many details because I want you to play it, and I want anyone to play it and experience the surprise and the fun of like learning the things that this game did so well. But that hit me, but that wasn't really enough to like sway me into being like, this is the greatest thing ever. I was just like, wow, okay, bit surprising. I didn't think you'd go there, especially with Toriyama art style.
Yeah.
But then you go on this long journey, and the thing that is really that's the glue that holds this game is your party members. They're incredible. I loved all of them. Your best friend Eric, the thief, he's fantastic. Silvando, the circus performer,
yeah, so
amazing. And the sisters Veronica and Serena, they're amazing as well. And the thing is that once that event happens, every single one of them is impacted heavily, and they all have their own story that you have to resolve. And the way that it's resolved is just done in a way where it feels necessary instead of feeling almost gamey. So just as an example of game, and I don't want to like shit on it too much because I enjoyed it, but like Dragon Age the Veilguard has a similar moment where the team, is like, okay, we got to beat the big bad. But like the things that the party members have to resolve before they're ready to do the final is just like some of the most like kind of superfluous, like not really. I'm like, really? You needed to do this? And maybe for some people it wasn't that bad, but for me, I was just like, the world's ending. Yeah. For God's sake, like I don't think we need to be focusing on this. But in Dragon Quest, a lot of the party members, there were things like legitimately they couldn't fight until you fix this. And I found those stories of like helping them helped me like them more, and made sense on why it needed to be done, and it also connected to the overall plot. So once you do all that, you then have to go to what you think is the ending of the game.
There's always what you think is the ending.
What you think is the ending. But the thing is what you think is the ending is really well done. Like this is a final. When you go to this like dungeon, and like you're at it has final area vibes. Like you're just like, this is the end of the game. Yeah. This is the end. It feels very conclusive. You roll credits when you beat that area. But then the game continues. You're only 2/3 through it.
Oh my God.
And at that 2/3 mark, this is when the game really clicked for me and went from being a great game to, holy shit, I'm playing something really special. You have to make a choice to continue. And that choice was rough for me. Not rough in the sense that I was like, I want to play more of the game. I want to see the true ending. But I was like, I can't believe they made my hero have to make that choice.
Yeah.
And what the consequences of those choices, they were very personal to the character. And for a silent protagonist, which, your main character kind of is, I was shocked. I was shocked at how personal of a choice it felt. And then you have the back third of the game.
Yeah.
And that is such an incredible experience because almost everything that was dour, you're able to do something about.
Wow.
Without like getting into spoilers, it was just it was really cool to go on that journey to try and fix everything that was wrong. Mm-hmm. And then you kind of try and defeat what you think is the big bad, only to find out there's like 2 other big bads that are way more than you thought. And I think the thing that's special, and it's why I want to keep like not spoiling it, is that a lot of the stuff that gets revealed at the very end was in your face the entire time.
Really?
Oh yeah. It like literally the
like,
opening CG cutscene. You're seeing stuff that you won't know till hour 90.
Oh my god!
And it's
Chrono Trigger levels, right?
Yeah. Another game by Akira Toriyama. And Yuji Horii.
Yeah.
The Dragon Quest team did make Chrono Trigger with him.
Oh, okay.
Along with other that game was like an all-star game to be made. But yeah, the way that Dragon Quest XI does its final third is just incredible. And it made me, when I replay, I'm always just like, holy shit, it was there this whole time.
Yeah.
It was just there. And it's I've said this to other people, but when I rolled credits and I got the final like CG cutscene, the game really ties itself to the franchise. Now, Dragon Quest XI was my first Dragon Quest, which is bad. 11 games in. But as someone who is a new fan, so I can say this from a new fan perspective, I was able to feel the specialness of the entire franchise
in that one
because of how it connected to them. 11 is such a good entry point for anyone playing Dragon Quest because it sets up the entire franchise. It feels like the keystone of Dragon Quest.
Okay.
And so much so that I had goosebumps. Literally, like my hair was on the edge by the time I rolled credits for the true credits, and I was just like, "Holy shit, that was a game!" Yeah, so that's why I brought it because we just played Expedition 33, which I will say is my current favorite turn-based game, but before that, this was it.
Yeah.
And I still think that the impact of this game will never be diminished, even by Expedition 33.
That's great. One thing I wanted to talk about is the visual. So you've been showing me some of the changes and stuff on that PC version that you have. Mm-hmm. It looks stunning. So kind of give me like a rundown of what you're looking at when you're playing that game.
So with one, it is a beautifully recreated 3D version of Akira Toriyama's style. Mm-hmm. And I like that he makes it a bit different. You can tell he has a different approach to how he makes Dragon Quest characters to how he makes Dragon Ball. Even if there are similarities. I mean, the main character looks like Trunks.
I mean, even more so in art. Isn't his art style used in Blue Dragon too?
Yeah, that's another one he made.
Yeah, that's another game I played that I thought that all of the monsters looked really good.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is his monster design is out of this world because I think a big part of this game's visual style isn't just how it looks; it's how it animates. Almost every character and especially every monster has like their own unique like intro and like idle stance that is just like. It's cartoony, but like infectious because you look at it and you're just like, damn, everything's animated and I love it. So that's like, for me, the visual style just fits really, really well. And specifically on the PC version, you're able to import the original game's high graphics into the definitive edition, which was made for Switch. So the models at base are a little not as good. They're lower. But once you import the old PS4 version or the original version, you get to see some really good stuff because they really put a lot of effort into this game when they made it.
Yeah.
And like nothing against the Switch version, but obviously it was underpowered compared to the PS4 and PS4 Pro. Mm-hmm. So it's nice that with mods you can get that 4K resolution with those higher quality models and all the extra content they added to the definitive edition. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would say visually though, it is a treat for the eyes, especially if you like. Obviously, if you love Toriyama's art style, you didn't need any recommendation. It's there. But I do think even if you're not the biggest fan, I think that the game does such a good job with like colorful locales and the world itself having so many different environments. I think you'll have a good time looking at it.
One thing that stood out to me with the different versions of the game was the music. So one of the reasons I could not play Dragon Quest XI is because the music was a little bit too bombastic, right? Mm-hmm. And it was grating on my ears. It was hard for me to listen to. But then a version came out on the Switch, which was, I think, the definitive edition that allowed us to use some of the music from I think Dragon Quest VIII.
Yep.
And immediately put like tons of hours into the game.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, like, how does the music sit with you in this version of the game?
So I think the definitive edition is the definitive version of the music. One, because the original was MIDI only, which if you don't know what MIDI is, it's digital instruments. And they wanted to keep that for the game feel for some reason, even though that has been outdated since the Wii era of video games. The definitive edition adds the symphonic version of 11, but also adds the symphonic versions of 8 for the overworld theme only. So all the other music you hear is 11, but just done with an actual orchestra. And I think it sounds incredibly better. And then having the 8 theme be for the overworld is magical, because I don't know who made that, but like holy shit,
they put their foot in it. That was so good.
Yeah, no, I find myself still humming it all the time while I'm playing the game. I can't help but just be running and be like bum 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 bum, dude. It's just it is very whimsical. It is very fun, and yeah, it really adds to the charm of the game. So I would say play the definitive edition.
Were there any tracks? So in every RPG you play, right, there's a couple tracks that you remember. You remember a battle track from like a boss, or just the typical battle track, and you remember a certain town's music. Are there any one of those, like a battle track or like a town song, that you remember that really stand out to you?
I like the standard battle track, especially once they added the orchestra version, because I'm a big fan of like wind instruments and the way that they have the they just, it always hits me when I'm playing. And then like I really like classic Disney symphony style music, and that's how this game feels. Even with the battle tune, they're just like, they're going from like low like horns to just like high violins, like playing little melodies. So it just always feels like I'm in a storybook.
Yeah. I could definitely say this game has a storybook feel for sure. Okay, and then let's get into gameplay. So I know that it's not an extremely deep combat system, but it's still got to be fun in some way.
I was gonna say I do think the battle system is. I mean, the mechanics are deep, but not the mechanics. I'm sorry. I do think the stats and the way that you're supposed to go about battle is deep.
Yeah.
But I do think that obviously there's not a lot of action input, so it really just becomes about reading and thinking. One of the things that I will say that I love about the gameplay, like especially the combat, Expedition does this as well, but I really like how there's synergy between teammates.
Yeah.
This is a 7 to 8, party member game, and you can swap people out even in battle. And doing that, there's just a lot of the way that you're able to build each character too. They don't fit into one play style. You're allowed to make them how you want. You can make them a jack of all trades. Don't really recommend that, just because you'll spread their power level too thin. But they all have like 3 to 4 distinct play styles that they can excel at. So it's not like, oh, Eric's only good if you do the knives build. It's like, no, you can make him a multi-hitting monster with the boomerang build, or you can if you want to not rely on crits as much, you can still make him a very good sword fighter. And so there's just like, there's ways to make each character and ways for them to build off each other. And then when you also get into the pet power system, where teammates work with each other based on the moves that they have, because that's the other thing. Everyone has a skill tree. And the thing is you see the skill tree and you think that's it. No, it's going to open up about 3 more times. And you're constantly going to be like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
The greatest thing, too, is you can always rebuild. It costs money just like it does in most RPGs. But,
yeah.
Being able to rebuild your team at any point is really awesome because you'll be like, oh man, this like you'll just see a strategy and you'll be like, man, why haven't I been doing that this whole time? Rab needs to be a mage, not a claw fighter.
Yeah.
And then you go and switch him, and then you're like, oh my god, it feels great to throw fireballs. So cool stuff like that, and then also because they all have different skill paths, you learn different skills based on which style you go in. The moves you learn in the skills react to different characters. So like you'll unlock pep attacks that like team attacks that only exist with certain characters if they're built certain ways. So replayability is extremely easy to do on this very long game. Mostly because of that. Every time I play it, I don't play my characters the same. Like even now, my current new playthrough is Sword and Shield, whereas my first playthrough was double swords, and then the playthrough after that was a great sword. So I'm having fun being able to do this, and I'm like, I wonder what I'm going to get down the line to team up with other people.
Yeah.
By going with this new play style. So yeah, I would argue that it is still deep. It just again, the simplicity is you are only going to be doing menu based combat. But what you do in that menu can be really interesting.
Can be really fun. That's good.
But yeah.
Well, finally, I guess I would go into impact. What kind of impact has this game had on you? How many times have you played it at this point?
3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of times.
Yeah, I really loved the game. The impact on it was that it surprised me.
Yeah.
I really I sat for months not buying it. I watched reviews over and over, but still was never convinced to press that purchase button. I just remember because this was back on my PS4, and I remember the entire summer I was like watching videos every couple weeks where I'd just be like, I really want to pull the trigger on that game. Convince me. And I kept looking at it and I just never did. And then in September, I finally did. And then I remember playing it at first and I was like, this is all right. It's, I love Toriyama's art, so it looks gorgeous. But then I finally like hit those pillar moments and I was just like, I couldn't stop playing it.
Yeah.
It didn't take me the month to play, and it was an 89 hours was my first playthrough. And I didn't even do like the side content because there's tons of like extra fights and bosses that I didn't fight. And I was just like, how did this game do that to me? Like, because I've been on record being like, I hate turn-based games on a home console. I'd rather them be on my handheld because, I can just play and like sit in bed. But Dragon Quest XI changed that. I was like, holy shit, no, if your game's good enough, I don't care where I have to play it. I will play it on the TV. So it made me, if I had like one lasting impact, it made me consider turn-based games more. It really shocked me that they were able to have like that production value and that like hook that I was able to like change my opinion on an entire genre. So
that's awesome. All right. And, I'm happy you brought that game. Every time I hear you talk about it, I'm more convinced to play more of it. I have put about, I want to say like 20, 30 hours in it. Enjoyed the time that I played. It's just, I don't think I want to play it on the Switch. If I am going to play it, it's going to be on PC or Switch 2 if it gets an update. I do want to see that game in all of its glory. Now that I've seen it on your PC, I'm like...
You're probably going to just need to play it on PC.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. With that, we're going to move on to our last boss topic. It's one that you and I talked about last night that I really, really wanted your opinion on. Is it bad to have a year this full of great games? So, my opinion, my initial opinion.
I was going to say, let's start with you on
my
that
initial
one.
opinion is I think it should all be spread out, right? If you have a year full of really good games, I feel like certain games won't get the amount of purchases that they need. I think that they won't. People won't remember them as fondly as they should. The accolades that they should be getting, they won't get. I think that if you have a full year of just amazing games, because this year has been crazy, and we're only like halfway.
Not even halfway.
Almost halfway. And we've had Split Fiction, which should be Game of the Year. Expedition 33 should be Game of the Year. I've been hearing Doom should be Game of the Year. I've been hearing so much about so many games. And the Switch 2 releases this year, and we're getting Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong. We're lucky that what is it?
We got Metroid Prime 4 too.
We got Metroid Prime 4, and we're lucky that fucking GTA took his ass to the next year, because this is like, I don't think that a year should have this many good games, and it's weird because it's weird that we're here, because 2020, I want to say 2023, 2024. Up until this year, we've been having years where everything keeps getting pushed back. You remember we were in like a drought. Was it 2020 or 2021?
2020 and 2021 were the biggest droughts.
Those
2022 is when it started to fix.
It started to fix, and 2025 feels like it has been the culmination of, hey, we're giving you banger, 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 and it's almost too much. I'm at a cookout, and there's just too much good food, man. There's too much good food. This is like, it's like if all your aunts came together for Thanksgiving and they all put their best dish in there, and you're just like, I can't eat it. I can't eat every one of them.
Can only intake so many calories.
Yeah. So it's, for me, it's been too good of a year, and I'd be okay if we move some stuff to the end into next year. We even have Pokemon ZA coming out this year. Just too many like groundbreaking experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I wish they were spread out more. Obviously, they're all competing with each other, so they're not talking to each other, being like, "No, bro, can you move it?"
That's true.
They're like,
South of Midnight also came out too good, and I don't even have a chance to play that game.
Yeah, and we also, omitting the fact that like Rebirth, FF7 Rebirth got its PC release. Monster Hunter Wilds is out, and it just came out this year. And we still have the other half of the year to deal with. I think also it doesn't help that the economy is not in a great place for people to be buying a shit ton of games. So it's been rough. I mean, I'm happy that a lot of great games exist, but I do feel, I hate the worry that, they might not get the attention they need. Like, we all worried that Expedition 33 was going to get overshadowed by the fact that like Oblivion Remastered came out 2 days prior to it.
Yes,
we're lucky it didn't happen, because great games just rise above that, but that doesn't always happen. We say that, but it doesn't always happen. And like an example for me was like Bayonetta 2. That was a game that reviewed extremely well, came out during a busy year and on a system that it shouldn't have. I mean, a system that wasn't thriving, and it didn't do that well. We were lucky to get a third one. And so I would hate to have that situation happen to games that are like of stellar quality as well, and have them be like overshadowed by the fact that like, 3 other games came out. They're all like long RPGs or something. And like, because that's one of the things that's like worrying about like the Switch 2 launch is like Mario Kart World's coming out, but they're not sending review copies of the Switch 2. Which makes sense. It seems like it's coming out pretty hot. Like everyone's getting it at the same time. But that's really going to impact coverage. Because, if we were to review games, I know we don't because we're a podcast that's bi-weekly. But if we had to do a review, that's an open world game. It's going to take like 30 to 40 hours. There's 20 other games launching with the Switch 2. You're going to have to prioritize. And who's not going to prioritize Mario Kart World?
Yeah.
So that's like the only game that's going to get coverage in the opening. And so anyone else who was like, yo, I made a really special game to launch alongside this, and it's just like, sorry, I got a Wahoo in the open world, and I still got to deal with Elden Ring Night Rain, and like, because like, there's just too much coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I always worry about that, because like, also this year we have Lost Soul Aside and like Metal Gear Solid, the remake in August.
Yeah, and we're also getting Death Stranding 2 this year, right?
In June,
yeah. There's too much.
Borderlands 4 is in September, and so is Marathon. And there's just a lot of games,
and they might not even all be good games, but there's too many like how do you say this, like poignant games coming out that are supposed to be either a revitalization or back to the drawing board or a brand new experience. There's all these different games coming out that are all exciting, and you want to buy Donkey Kong. Like there's too much.
Yeah. And it's like, in between all this, you have to still look at your backlog and also look at games that are getting updated. Like Helldivers 2 currently, with this biggest update, I think it's a game that people should, look at if you didn't think you liked it before, or maybe you just you fell off. I'm like, you should come back, but it's like, but bro, I gotta play Night Rain next week, and it's like, I get that.
Yeah, I hear you.
And so games are getting updates, they're getting expansions alongside these great games. So it's just like,
yeah.
I just feel for the industry. So to answer your question, I do think it's bad to get this many, but I don't know how you solve it without just telling companies to,
chill.
Well, because that's the other thing is when you know how the industry works, a delay is not a delay, bro. A delay is $3 million.
Yeah, it costs a lot.
For some indie studio that's like, hey, no, we kind of need sales now because, our building's going to go under if we can't pay rent next month. And
just everybody buy all the good games. That's all I can say. Is if everybody buys all the good games, maybe that'll fix the problem. You tell us if you think that this has been too good of a year. We can wait till the year ends and then we can revisit this, but it has been a fucking monumental year so far.
Exactly. Well, with that, we're going to be closing this episode. Thanks for listening. But we're going to hit you with some learning. Video game vocab here, baby. And what a better appropriate thing for an RPG-themed episode than critical hits. In video games and role-playing games, known as RPGs, a critical hit, or crit, is an attack that deals significantly more damage than a normal hit. It's often a randomly occurring event, though its probability can be affected by various factors like character stats, skills, weapons, or potions. Critical hits are often represented by a multiplier applied to the normal damage, such as doubling or tripling it. The more you know.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Although I would love triple damage on a crit hit. I'm not used to that. I'm used to double.
Yeah, that one I haven't heard of. So that one's crazy.
All right. And with that, we're going to move on. It is time for the final credits. It's the part of the show where we give
you
30 seconds
uninterrupted
to say whatever your heart desires.
Be it salty,
sweet,
or say nothing at all.
The mic is yours.
Tell us what's on your mind.
And I believe it's you.
It's you. I said some hot sauce last
It's me. It's me. Okay. All right. It's me. In 3, 2. So with this episode, to continue with the JRPG sort of vibe, I think that if you haven't, go play Final Fantasy X. This is a Final Fantasy X soapbox moment. That is one of the best JRPGs you can play. It has a great story. It is full of fun characters, except Waka. I think that it has one of the coolest worlds that you can go to. Kamari is also dope. Play Final Fantasy X. It'll change your life.
And cut.